First off, I want to say happy belated birthday to the Marine Corps and to some of the Marines I know, Koontzy, Mike Ray, and my Uncle Ralph. Also, happy Veterans Day to all the fellow vets out there. And now moving on to what we're going to talk about today is the tiny house movement. And so for a lot of people, the question is, what is a tiny house? And tiny house is basically a footprint of about 500 square feet or less on a freestanding house. And some examples are there could be just about any design style that you can think of. There could be a traditional style, like something like the size of a converted garage. You could have a modern style with glass walls and a nice deck over around the area, or you could have something even like an old used shipping container, which is a pretty neat idea because that shipping container wouldn't be doing anything but taking up space or sitting around rusting, and now it can be turned into somebody's house. So that's another neat idea. So what is the appeal of a tiny house? And for some, it's just financial. If you figure the average home price in San Antonio is around $200,000 and you could build a tiny house for around $40,000, let's say, give or take a little bit, maybe as low as $10,000, maybe as high as 80, 90 plus. I'm sure it could get up there if you want it to. But say you could do that, I mean, you're really cutting the cost of your home down, or the cost of your living expenses every month. And for some, that's just a great appeal. For other people, it's about lifestyle. And for instance, there was a family of 4 that liked to go to the water, the river, the lake every weekend. And what they did is, instead of having to make that call and make the time to get down there, they decided to build a tiny house right on the waterfront. And they had about a 330 square foot house with their footprint, but they built some lofts upstairs for their kids. So they kind of went up a little bit, kept the footprint small, and then they had a huge 500 square foot deck that helped them oversee the water. So that was about a lifestyle for them. They're there where they want to be every week or every day. And then another good example was a traveling nurse that ended up building a 120 square foot tiny house on wheels, because she would do assignments, 4 or 5 months in one city and then move on to the next one. And instead of having to figure out where to live and move her stuff every so many months, she would just pack up her house and drive it to the next location. So for some, it's about financial returns. For some, it's about lifestyle. And I'm sure there's other reasons that make this attractive and appealing to people. But tiny houses are starting to get more and more to the forefront of people's minds. We want to know if you think you could live in a tiny house. So go to our Facebook page and tell us why you think you could or could not live in a tiny house. And also, there's some companies that'll let you test drive a tiny house before you buy it, or even go and stay there on vacation if you just want to try it out. So if you'd like to know about those companies and how to contact them, give us a call or send us an email. And that's it for today. So thanks, and happy Veterans Day.